All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going deep, deep into Guindo Santo honey.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
It is, it is. This honey, well, it's really special. It comes from Chile, made by the Pehuenche people. They're an indigenous community up in the Andes Mountains.
Wow.
Yeah, and what makes this honey so fascinating is that get this, it's claimed to be monofloral,
Monofloral.
meaning,
Yeah, I know what monofloral means.
oh, okay, great, just making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yep.
So, meaning that the bees primarily used nectar from a single type of flower, just one.
I think we both have a pretty good understanding of monofloral honey.
Right, of course. But, for our listeners who maybe are just tuning in or are new to the world of honey,
Sure, sure.
and speaking of listeners, you actually sent us a research paper on this very honey.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And guess what? It was just published last month, January 2025.
Wow, so it's like
Hot off the press.
cutting edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the Journal of Agriculture and Food Research.
It sounds like you found some really, really interesting new research. Then,
Oh, absolutely. And what's even cooler is the scientists behind this paper. They're using artificial intelligence.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
To study honey.
To determine if this Guindo Santo honey really is as monofloral as, people say it is.
Yo, that's fascinating, isn't it?
I mean, traditionally figuring out what kind of honey you've got involved, looking at the pollen under a microscope,
Yeah.
very, very time consuming and frankly kind of a pain.
You're not wrong. You need a lot of patience.
Right.
You need a really good eye for detail and a lot of time.
Exactly. So this new research, super exciting.
Definitely.
So tell me more about this AI. What is this YOLOv8 thing?
YOLOv8, well, it's an object detection algorithm.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds complicated, but
It does.
it's actually not too bad. It's basically trained to look at an image and
Huh.
find and label things in those images.
Interesting.
So in this case, the researchers, they trained YOLOv8 to look at a picture, a microscopic picture of honey,
Yeah.
and tell you what kinds of pollen are in there and how much of each one.
So instead of someone having to sit there hunched over a microscope,
Exactly.
this AI just zips through these images and spits out results.
Exactly. Way more efficient, way faster.
I mean, that just seems so much more efficient.
And you know what's even cooler? YOLOv8 is already being used in other fields,
Oh, really?
like agriculture. It can identify like different crops or even pests.
So this is not some sort of,
Untested.
untested, brand new.
No, it's got a really good track record.
That does lend some weight to the findings, I think.
For sure, for sure.
But, okay, I have to ask,
Right.
why go through all this trouble? Is figuring out what flowers the bees liked really that important?
It might seem like a small thing,
Yeah.
but classifying honey accurately, it's actually super important for a lot of reasons.
Sorry.
First of all, it protects consumers.
It's okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're going to buy a special honey and pay a lot of money for it, you want to know that you're actually getting what you paid for.
Right. Absolutely. Nobody wants to get tricked.
Right. And then for the producers,
Yeah.
especially smaller communities like the Pehuenche people we talked about, protecting the unique qualities of their honey, that's super important for them, for how they make a living.
Yeah, for their livelihood. Absolutely.
For sure. So it's all about fairness, really.
Fairness. Yeah, for everyone.
For the people making the honey
I know.
and the people buying it.
Exactly. So it's making sure everyone's getting a fair deal.
Yeah. And Chile has a really unique ecosystem.
Oh, I bet.
So the researchers, they actually had to create a special digital pollen library
Oh, wow.
just for the region where this Guindo Santo honey is produced.
Wait, why would they need a special library? I thought, pollen is pollen.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like that Chile has all these different plants. You won't find a lot of them anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
And so to be able to accurately identify the pollen in the honey,
Yeah.
the AI needs a way to compare it to what's actually growing in the area. So it's like giving the AI a crash course in Chilean botany
Exactly.
before it can analyze the honey.
Yeah, you got it.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. So they've got this digital pollen library. They train the AI. Now what? How do they actually test this AI out on the honey?
Well, they take pictures, microscopic pictures, of the honey samples,
Okay.
and then they feed those pictures to the AI.
And the AI can tell them.
Based on what it sees, the AI, or YOLOv8, can tell you where the honey came from, what plants it's made from.
So it's like, I don't know, showing the AI a plate of food and it tells you what all the ingredients are.
Exactly. And it does a really good job of it.
Yeah. How good.
Well, this AI, it had an overall accuracy of 97.6%.
Wow.
That means it was able to correctly identify the pollen species in almost 98 out of every 100 images.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's really amazing.
You mentioned that Chile has all these unique plants.
Did any of them throw off the AI? Was there anything that was too hard for it to figure out?
While the overall accuracy was great, there were a few pollen species that were a bit trickier than others.
Okay, so like what? What made them tricky?
Well, pollen, it's kind of like snowflakes. They can have all these really specific characteristics.
Interesting.
Some of them have really unique shapes or sizes, things that make them easier for the AI to pick out.
So the AI is better at spotting certain pollens than others.
It seems that way, yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so what about the Guindo Santo pollen? How did the AI do with that?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The model was actually incredibly good at identifying the Guindo Santo pollen,
Really?
like better than some of the other types.
So does that mean that Guindo Santo pollen has like some sort of special characteristic that makes it stand out?
That's a really good question, and one that I'm sure the researchers are trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It could be that the pollen is larger, or maybe it has a unique shape, or something else that makes it easy for the AI to recognize.
So the AI might not just be verifying the honey, but it could actually be telling us something new about the pollen itself.
Exactly.
Wow, I love those little aha moments in science. Okay, enough suspense though. Did the AI confirm whether the Guindo Santo honey is really monofloral?
Drum roll, please.
Uh-huh.
The AI found that over 58% of the pollen in the Guindo Santo honey came from the Guindo Santo flower.
Okay, that sounds pretty definitive.
Right. And the Guindo Santo flower, by the way, is scientifically known as Eucryphia glutinosa.
Eucryphia glutinosa. Okay,
Wait.
I'll try to remember that. Wait, is there like a certain percentage of pollen that needs to be present for a honey to be called monofloral?
You're right to ask that. There are rules about these things. In Chile, for a honey to be considered monofloral, at least 45% of the pollen has to come from that one flower source.
Okay.
So you see, this Guindo Santo honey, it passes with flying colors.
So case closed. The Pollen people were right all along.
But not so fast.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit of a twist.
A twist.
Yeah. Just to be extra thorough, the researchers, they also had human experts analyze the honey,
Okay.
using the old school pollen counting methods.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets interesting. Their findings were a little different from what the AI found.
Hold on. Are you saying the human experts and this super smart AI disagreed?
Yeah, kind of.
I thought this technology was supposed to be so accurate.
It is. It is. But it's important to remember that both methods, the AI and the humans, they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. Like the AI, it can process tons of images really fast, no problem. But the human experts, well, they can actually see the pollen in 3D under a microscope. They can look at it from all these different angles and maybe notice little things that the AI might miss.
So the human eye, with all its experience,
Right.
still has a role to play. It's not all about robots taking over.
Not at all. Think of it as a team effort. The AI can do the heavy lifting, go through all that data super quick, and then the human experts come in and with their expert eyes, they can double check everything and really dive into the details. Best of both worlds.
I like that. It's not a competition, It's using both approaches to get the most complete picture. Okay, so back to the honey. Both the AI and the humans agreed it was monofloral, but they got slightly different results.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the study? Does it change anything?
I think it's an important thing to note
Okay.
because it shows that even with really advanced technology, there can still be some variation in the results.
Right.
But the fact that they were a little different, it doesn't mean that the study's findings are wrong. Both the AI and the humans agreed that the Guindo Santo honey is monofloral. And that backs up what the Pollen people have been saying all along.
It's really cool how traditional knowledge and cutting-edge science are coming together here.
It is.
So it seems like this AI could really change how we look at honey.
Oh, yeah.
But what about the bigger picture? Like, what does this mean beyond just figuring out if a honey is monofloral or not?
Well, think about it. Imagine if we could use this technology to trace the origin of any honey quickly and accurately.
That would be incredible.
It could help make sure that honey is authentic, and it could protect people from buying fake honey.
Right.
And, it could help those small honey producers like the Pollen people by making sure that they're getting a fair price for their product.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it'd be like a global honey passport system.
Exactly.
Just making sure everything's transparent.
Transparency, fairness,
Yeah.
all across the board.
And not just for buying and selling honey, but you could use it to study bees, right?
Oh, absolutely.
See how they're doing, where they're going?
You could track their populations, see if they're healthy, maybe even see how plant life is changing over time.
It's amazing how something as simple as honey can tell us so much about the world around us.
It is. It is. It's really fascinating.
Okay, but there's one thing I keep thinking about.
What's that?
Remember how we were talking about how good the AI is at identifying Guindo Santo pollen?
Yeah, it's got that special something, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, what if, and I'm just spitballing here, what if we could use this technology to create a sort of like a honey fingerprint?
A honey fingerprint.
Yeah. Like, since the AI is so good at recognizing the Guindo Santo pollen, could we use it to test other honeys and see if they've been, mixed with Guindo Santo honey?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. You're thinking like a quality control measure.
Exactly.
Or a way to catch people trying to pass off a blended honey as pure Guindo Santo.
Exactly.
That's a really cool idea.
Right.
If that Guindo Santo pollen has a unique signature, we could totally use it to track it down in other honeys. It'd be like using DNA evidence to solve a honey mystery.
I love that. Honey detectives. This AI could be a game changer for the entire honey industry, protecting consumers, supporting producers, and even helping us understand the world of bees. It's incredible.
It really is. It just shows you what's possible when we combine human ingenuity and technology.
Well, it seems like we've reached the bottom of this honey pot. We've gone deep into the science, the culture, and the future of honey. We've got so much more to talk about, but we'll have to save that for next time. For those of you who want to learn even more about Guindo Santo honey, the Pollen people, or this incredible AI technology, make sure to check out our show notes.
And remember, the world is full of mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and never lose that sense of wonder.
So well said. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.
But like teaching it to speak the language of pollen
I like that.
before we send it off to go and chat with all the honey samples.
Yeah. Okay, so they built this pollen library, they trained the AI. What happens next? How do they actually test it out with this Guindo Santo honey?
Well, they take microscopic images of the honey samples
Okay.
and feed those pictures to the AI.
So the AI can...
Based on what it sees, the AI, this YOLOv8, can tell you what plants the honey came from.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, like showing the AI a plate of food and it tells you all the ingredients.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And get this. The AI, it did a really good job.
Oh, yeah. Like, how good are we talking?
An overall accuracy of 97.6%.
Seriously?
So that means it correctly identified the pollen species in almost 98 out of every 100 pictures they gave it.
Wow.
Pretty impressive, right?
That is impressive.
It is.
You mentioned that Chile has all these unique plants.
Yeah.
Did any of them give the AI any trouble? Like, were there any pollens that it just couldn't figure out?
Well, even though the overall accuracy was really high, there were a few species that were a bit trickier than others.
Okay, so like, what made them so tricky?
Well, you see, pollen grains, they can be kind of like snowflakes, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have their own little quirks and characteristics.
Oh, that's interesting.
And some of them have unique shapes or sizes, things that make them easier for the AI to recognize.
Yeah.
And some, not so much.
So the AI is better at spotting certain pollens than others.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so what about this Guindo Santo pollen? How did the AI do with that one?
Now that's where things get really interesting.
How?
It turns out the model was really good at identifying the Guindo Santo pollen.
Oh, wow.
Like, really good.
Really?
Yeah. Even better than with some of the other types of pollen.
So does that mean that the Guindo Santo pollen has something special about it? Something that makes it stand out?
Ooh, that is a really good question.
Right.
And it's one I bet the researchers are looking into more. It could be that the pollen is bigger than the others, or maybe it's got a really unique shape, or who knows, something else entirely that makes it easy for the AI to pick out.
So the AI isn't just verifying the honey. It might also be telling us something new about this pollen itself.
Yeah, that's right.
I love that. It's like a bonus discovery.
Right.
Okay, enough with the suspense. Did the AI confirm if the Guindo Santo honey really is monofloral?
Drum roll, please.
Uh-huh.
The results are in. The AI found that over 58% of the pollen in the Guindo Santo honey came from, you guessed it, the Guindo Santo flower.
It sounds pretty clear-cut.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the Guindo Santo flower, Its fancy scientific name is Eucryphia glutinosa.
Eucryphia glutinosa.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
yeah.
try to remember that. But wait, is there like a specific amount of pollen, like a percentage, that needs to be there for a honey to be called monofloral?
You know, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And you're right, there are standards for this kind of thing.
I figured there had to be.
So in Chile, for a honey to be labeled monofloral, at least 45% of the pollen needs to be from just that one type of flower.
Cool.
So our Guindo Santo honey, it passes with no problem.
So I guess that settles it then.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But wait, there's a twist.
There's a twist.
There is. You see, to make absolutely sure, the researchers, they also had human experts look at the honey,
Okay.
you know, using the traditional pollen counting methods.
Right.
And here's where things get a bit more interesting. Their findings were a little different from what the AI came up with.
Hold on. Are you telling me the human experts and the super smart AI didn't agree?
Well, not exactly.
But I thought the AI was supposed to be super accurate.
It is, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But we have to remember that both ways of looking at this, the AI and the human way, they both have their pluses and minuses.
Okay.
Like, take the AI, it can go through a ton of images really fast, no problem. But the humans, they can actually see the pollen in 3D under a microscope.
Oh, I see.
They can turn it around, look at it from all sides, and might even pick up on little things that the AI might miss.
So you're saying that good old-fashioned human experience still has a place in all this. It's not just about the robots taking over.
Exactly. It's all about teamwork, really.
Okay.
Think of it like this. The AI does all the heavy lifting, you know, going through all that data really fast, and then the humans swoop in with all their expertise and make sure everything looks good.
I like that.
Right. It's about using the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not about one being better than the other.
Mm.
Okay, so back to the honey. Both the AI and the human experts agreed that it's monofloral, but their results were a bit different.
Right.
What does that mean then? Does it change anything?
Well, it's definitely something to pay attention to because it shows that even with all this fancy technology, we can still get some variation in the results. But the fact that there are these small differences, it doesn't mean the whole study is wrong. Nope. Both the AI and the humans, they both agreed. This Guindo Santo honey, it is monofloral.
Wow.
Which, you know, really backs up what the Pollen people have been saying all along.
I love how traditional knowledge and cutting-edge science are working together here.
Me too. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so it seems like this AI could really shake things up in the honey world.
Oh, for sure.
But what about the bigger picture? What does this mean, not just for figuring out if a honey is monofloral, but for other things?
Well, imagine this. What if we could use this technology to figure out exactly where any honey comes from?
Oh, yeah.
Quickly and accurately.
That would be incredible.
Right. We can make sure that all the honey out there is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
No fakes.
Right. Protect people from buying fake honey.
Exactly. And it could help those small-scale honey producers like the Pollen by making sure they get a fair price for their hard work.
This would be like a global honey passport system.
Exactly.
Making sure everything is transparent and fair.
For everyone.
And you could use this technology for more than just buying and selling honey, right? Like you could use it to study bees.
Absolutely.
See how they're doing, where they're going.
They could track for populations, see how healthy they are, even see how the plant life is changing over time.
It's amazing how something as simple as honey can give us so much information about the world around us.
It really is. It really is.
Okay, so there's one thing I've been thinking about.
What's that?
Remember how we were talking about how good the AI is at spotting that Guindo Santo pollen?
Yeah, that unique signature.
Right. Well, what if, and I'm just brainstorming here, what if we could use this AI to create like a honey fingerprint?
A honey fingerprint.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Like because the AI is so good at recognizing that specific pollen, could we use it to test other honeys to see if they've been mixed with Guindo Santo honey?
Oh, I see what you mean. Like a way to make sure the honey is pure.
Exactly.
Or to catch anyone trying to sneak in some other honey and pass it off as pure Guindo Santo.
That's it.
That's a fantastic idea. If that Guindo Santo pollen really does have a unique signature, we could totally use it to track it down. It'd be like those crime shows using DNA evidence to solve a honey mystery.
Honey detectives. I love it. This AI could totally change the game for the whole honey industry. We could protect consumers, help out the producers, and even learn more about the amazing world of bees. It's really incredible.
It is. It really is. It just shows how powerful it can be when we use human ingenuity and technology together.
Well, I think we've reached the bottom of the honeypot on this one.
Haha,
We've
yeah.
explored the science, the culture, and even peeked into the future of honey.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into the world of Guindo Santo honey.
Absolutely. For all of you listening, if you want to learn more about Guindo Santo honey or the Pollen people
Yeah.
or this incredible AI technology we've been talking about, be sure to check out the show notes.
And remember, the world is full of amazing mysteries.
It really is.
So keep asking questions, keep exploring, and never lose that sense of wonder.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, everyone, stay curious. So, okay, back to the honey. Both the AI and the humans agreed it was monofloral, but the results were a bit different. What does that mean? Does it change anything?
Well, it does show us that even with this really advanced technology, we're not going to get, exactly the same results every time. There's always a little bit of variation.
Okay.
But the fact that there were some small differences, that doesn't mean the study's conclusions are wrong. Both the AI and the humans, they both agreed that, yep, this Guindo Santo honey, it is monofloral.
Right.
And that really backs up what the Pehuench people have been saying all along.
Right. Yeah. It's really cool how traditional knowledge and, this cutting-edge science are coming together here.
It is. It's amazing.
Okay. So it seems like this AI could really change how we analyze honey.
Oh, absolutely.
But what about, the bigger picture? What does this mean not just for figuring out if a honey is monofloral or not, but for, other things?
Well, imagine if we could use this technology to trace the origin of any honey.
Wow. Yeah.
Think about it. Quickly and accurately.
That would be amazing.
It would help ensure the authenticity of honey, protect consumers from fraud, and even safeguard the livelihoods of small-scale honey producers.
Right, like the Puenche community. So it'd be like a global honey passport system.
Exactly. Total transparency, total fairness.
And you could use this for more than just buying and selling honey, right? What about studying bees?
Oh, absolutely. We could track bee populations, see if they're healthy, even monitor changes in plant biodiversity over time.
It really is amazing how something as simple as honey can tell us so much about the world around us.
It is. It is. It's fascinating.
There's one thing I keep thinking about.
What's that?
Remember how we talked about how good the AI is at identifying that Guindo Santo pollen?
Yeah, it's got that unique something.
Right. What if, and I'm just kind of brainstorming here, what if we could use this technology to create, a honey fingerprint?
A honey fingerprint.
Yeah, since the AI is so good at recognizing the Guindo Santo pollen, could we use it to test other honeys and see if, any Guindo Santo honey has been mixed in?
Oh, I see where you're going with this. You're thinking like a quality control kind of thing.
Exactly.
Or a way to catch people trying to pass off a blended honey as pure Guindo Santo.
Exactly.
That's a brilliant idea. If that Guindo Santo pollen does have a unique signature, then yeah, we can absolutely use it to trace its presence in other honeys.
It would be like those crime shows using DNA evidence.
Exactly.
Okay.
Solving a honey mystery.
Honey detectives. This AI could really change the honey industry, protecting consumers, supporting producers, and even helping us learn more about bees and their environment.
It's incredible what we can achieve when we combine human ingenuity and technology.
Well, I think we've reached the bottom of this honey pot for today.
Yeah.
We've explored the science, the culture, and the future of honey.
It's been a truly fascinating deep dive into the world of Guindo Santo honey.
If you want to learn more about Guindo Santo honey, the Puenche people, or this incredible AI technology, be sure to check out our show notes. And until next time, stay curious, everyone.